Let's actually get to a conversation which is, I actually put a request in to get to Granty today because he's coming home. He's coming back to Dunedin. He's retiring and he's coming back to Dunedin. And I said, come on, come and talk to us in Dunedin about what you're going to be doing when you get back here. I mean, I guess there's a chance we may get him tomorrow night, but we'll wait and see what happens. Big news today. He's been in the game for 15 years. He's one of the big three for the last kind of 6 or 7 years. Grant Robertson retires from politics.
Tēnā tātou katoa, good evening. The Labour Party is losing one of its heavy hitters, with former Deputy Prime Minister Grant Robertson announcing today he's retiring from politics.
Robertson was also Finance Minister and said he's proud of the lives and jobs the government saved during COVID.
Oh, hello, pause. Why couldn't they have said that during the election cycle? The lives.
Why couldn't they say that constantly during the election cycle?
We say the 20,000 more New Zealanders that are fucking voting for national.
Have you got a job now? You're welcome.
Lynch.
Hanging up his calculator, it's goodbye, Grant Robertson.
I gave every single inch of myself to the jobs that I've had in Parliament, and arguably maybe a little bit more than that in the last 6 years particularly. And so I knew that I didn't have it in me to go much further.
The Finance Minister, who steered New Zealand through a once-in-a-lifetime economic crisis, is leaving the building, signing off without regret, signing off with pride.
I remember the day when a briefing came over from Treasury and it said unemployment was going to go over 10%. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm not going to let that happen.
Robertson told his...
Why wasn't that the lead in the last election cycle? Like, it's the first time I've heard that story. Why wasn't that a news item? You know, like a campaign. We got told that. We pushed hard. Were mistakes made? Yes. But 20,000 New Zealanders and 6,000 employed people, thanks to what Labour did during COVID 2020 or 2021. But, you know what they need? They need Spiderhoof doing their PR for them. We've already talked about that, haven't we? Oh, no, I think Spiderhoof wants to go to the Māori Party, I think.
His caucus colleagues this morning had told Chris Hipkins a while back.
One of the hardest things I had to do was to tell him that I was looking to move on.
The feeling mutual.
An emotional day. It won't come as a surprise to any of you that Jacinda and Grant have been two of my best friends, not just at work, but in my life. And so having had them both recently depart has not been easy.
Robertson entered Parliament in 2008 alongside his mates Jacinda Ardern and Chris Hipkins. Today now, Dame Jacinda, the former Prime Minister, shared that Robertson had played a pivotal role in her entry to politics, as at a Labour list ranking meeting. Grant was the hot favourite. As nominations began, Grant stood up and announced to the room, "I don't wish to be ranked until Jacinda Ardern is."
And I really wanted to make sure she got in.
That's pretty self-sacrificial.
Your words.
Robertson had a dream to be leader. He ran for it twice, once with Ardern as a running mate.
Surprise!
He faced a barrage of questions the first time round in 2013 about whether New Zealand was ready for an openly gay Prime Minister.
I think they'll judge me on my abilities and what I bring to the job. I don't think
that's ever really impacted him. You know, like, there was a little bit of conversation around at this time, but but beyond that, I've never really heard it talked about. Like for one cycle, but then beyond that,
I do remember it being when his hat was in the ring, that it was being discussed of whether that was a bridge too far for some segments of Labour support base, primarily the more conservative Pacifica parts of Labour's support base. And I don't know if that was just a cover for people that were just like, ooh, gay. But yeah, I mean, to hear that again, like, I think personally Grant would have been a phenomenal Prime Minister. Honestly, one of the greats. And to hear that we didn't get that because he is gay, it's gutting.
Well, I mean, in fairness, they didn't say because he was gay. They said it contributed to it, just for accuracy. But look, what I wrote down though was I wrote down house debates. Like, that's actually what Labour's losing, because we would talk about it last year. It's like, wait till Grant gets them in the House. That's actually one of the huge things that I think Labour's going to lose in this, is that I mean, he's not like the Trevor Millard pit bull, but he's in that vein to go after someone with the facts and figures, and they talk about his vast knowledge when it comes to the political game, and I think he'll be a huge loss in that part of the political scene.
I heard this news today and I was gutted. I instantly understood it, just very much the same as I understood why Jacinda went. But it was, again, a very similar feeling. I was just gutted because he is such a powerhouse. He would wipe the floor with Nicola day in, day out. It'd be like that Simpsons meme where there's just a kid crying. He's already dead. And I don't know much about his replacement. There is a comment here from Rua MD in the chat. He seemed like such a genuine guy. I don't know much about Barbara Edmonds, his replacement, but she sounds like a powerhouse and very experienced, hopefully to challenge Nicola.
I think that they talk about her as a tax expert. So there's some good background when you talk about it. Shall we keep going? Yeah.
I mean, I'm happy to see that Grant's coming back to Dunedin. I'm happy he's got a position at the university. I think this is going to leave to steal a phrase from Nicola or reference a Nicola Willis phrase, it's going to leave a huge hole in the house.
But let's keep going.
He doesn't hold any lingering regret about not getting the top job.
I'm very proud of what I did do and the role that I played, particularly in supporting Jacinda while she was Prime Minister, is, for me, a really big achievement.
Entering Parliament was far from his first foray into politics. He worked in Helen Clark's Beehive and before that, student politics as the Otago University student president in the 90s.
This is an occasion to tell the National Party today is not for tax cuts.
It's like he hasn't aged a day. It's exactly the same. Same here, same everything.
30 years on, his messaging hasn't changed all that much, and he's coming home, back to Otago University to take up the role as Vice-Chancellor.
I'm super excited about going home, about going to an institution that gave me an incredible start. You know, it made me for my career.
Hipkins has appointed Barbara Edmonds into the all-important and coveted finance role, a tax expert, the first female Labour finance spokesperson.
And the reason why I came here was to provide a voice for those who are most vulnerable. So I ask myself that every day, and that's what fuels me.
Robertson leaves the Labour Party searching for its meaning, a party that got walloped at the election.
I've got a job to do. I've still got plenty of fight left in me. I'm still feeling very energised about the job that I've got ahead.
I have great faith in Chippy and in Carmel and in the team that Labour has here.
With his two best mates gone, the task for Chippy just got all the more challenging.
That's it. We'll leave it there. Sorry, I'm doing two things at once.
I mean, talking about debates in the House, I've seen a couple from this week, and Chippy is holding his own. But again, that is in comparison to Luxon, who's just very bad at it. Very, very bad.
Yeah. So I mean, it is a loss, but people move on. I don't get the same sense though. You were saying that, it reminded you of Jacinda. I'm assuming you're kind of saying the feeling you had when she left, because he seems to be leaving differently. Like, she looked like a wrecked person who had nothing left to give. He looks like someone going, it's time to move on. It's time for the next stage. It doesn't quite feel as heavy on him for the having to leave, just more time choosing to leave.
I think that's fair, and I think it's almost a tactical decision. I think that Grant has always been, and it's sort of illustrated in that story, that he's party first rather than me first, sort of thing. And I think he's looked at the landscape and gone, okay, I need to get out of the way for someone else to have a go at this government before the budget, basically. And
look, I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong, as Brendan's saying. Don't know if I agree, that's fine. I could be wrong. I'm just saying the sense I get that he doesn't seem quite as, I'm not going to use the word distraught. I'm just saying she seemed like she'd run a marathon and she could not do another step. He looks like he's run a marathon, and then maybe he could do another couple of Ks, but it's time to go. That's just the vibe I get,
Yeah, no, fair enough.
Is there anything you
we
want
should
to say?
Get him on the show.
Well,
we should get him on. We should door knock him.
Yeah, like other people sometimes do. Let's he'll definitely come on. We'll get him on, even if it's when he gets back here to Dunedin. We could go to a podcast with him somewhere, take him out somewhere and have a chat with him down at the Esplanade or something. That'd be quite nice, actually. Do an hour conversation with him in a pub. Okay, is there anything in the chat that we want to, because this is the Granty bit, is there anything we really want to get out there about Grant before we move on to the benefit bashing part of our show?
Yep, Peter, here's a good comment. I hope that Luxon isn't too petty to sign off on an offer for a knighthood. Don't know if Robertson would take it. He certainly has the mana. And I think that would be a deserved one.
Yeah, all right.
And then just comments, he was a good finance minister. I think he was.
I think that idea, honestly. I mean, that story about Treasury saying the unemployment should go above 10%, that's just, I mean, how can that not be on the headline of your CV if you were doing a CV? You know, I saved tens of thousands of jobs and got no credit for it the next fucking election.
And Free Soul, I'm so sad that he's going, but I don't blame him. So proud that I met him. So I look forward to that. Hopefully I'll bump into him in Dunedin.